This is the Final Furlong Podcast, Punchestown Festival Special, featuring Adam Mills, George Gorman, Liam Firkin, and Jamie Wrenn. Be part of the show. Like, comment, and subscribe for free on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And now, here's your host, Emmet Kennedy.
Welcome to the Final Furlong Podcast, the informed show where the winners continue to flow. It is great to have your company. We're joined by a man who was extremely confident about Elite Tomp at the weekend. Chef's kiss for Danny Mullins. Adam Mills is alongside us. We got the voice of Ireland, price-wise himself, Jamie Wrenn, point-to-point winning rider again this weekend, and former jockey George Gorman, who continues to be in good form, and odds checkers Liam Firkin, who told you Regent Stroll was a good horse. They've all gone quiet now, all the haters, now that he's second in a Grade 1. Oh, suddenly they've all gone real quiet. Liam Firkin is back with us on the show as well as we take you through all of the best racing for Punchestown. And this is your last chance to take advantage of the Jeff Banks Final Furlong Podcast offer. You can get 10% of any net losses up to £500 back after your first 3 months of betting. Now is the time to take it because it's going to be gone in less than a week. FFP 500. Sign up now to jeffbanks.bet. Use your promo code FFP 500. 10% of any net losses back up to £500 after your first 3 months of betting. And of course, there's all the other incentives there as well. Best odds guaranteed, money back specials, and you can stream British and Irish racing for free on the Jeff Banks website. jeffbanks.bet. FFP 500. 10% of any net losses back up to £500 after your first 3 months of betting. It's an exceptional offer. Sign up now. We will take you through the William Hill Champion Chase, which Willie Mullins has won 5 of the past 6 renewals of. He's had 8 winners in total, and he's got the odds-on favourite Factifile, who drops back to 2 miles for the first time since his bumper days. Went second to Dream to Share at Leopardstown and in the champion bumper at Cheltenham. Paul Townend is going to be on board El Fabiolo. Factifile currently 10-11. El Fabiolo, who has only completed in 2 of his last 5 starts. He's fallen, pulled up and been second in the others. He's a 9-1 shot. And then we've got the champion chaser, Nationale. A number of champion chasers have managed to win this race. 5 of the last 7 to run have doubled up here. Can Nationale dethrone Factifile? This has been a long-term project for Adam Mills. You've been talking about him dropping back to 2 miles. They're going to do it. Does GP McManus have next year's champion chase winner? And is he going to be winning this race, Adam Mills?
I think he's going to be winning this race. Whether he's got next year's champion chase winner remains to be seen. I think it depends on how their other horses shape out. I just thought, although this is a drop to 2 miles, the presence of Solness kind of should guarantee you a pretty strong pace. I'm going to take the view that the champion chase was just terrible, and I just feel it fell apart. And that's, it's a wonderful story, but I'm just not convinced by Nationale. I'm also trying to sort of look at any kind of angle here. I think Solness being in there means they'll go quite fast. El Fabiolo is going to make jumping mistakes. Can't be having him. If Factifile's going to win a champion chase, he needs to be winning this and winning it quite comfortably, but I think he will. I think he's got far more speed than people perhaps give him credit for. Do I want to take 10-11? Probably not. I'm quite happy just to watch and maybe have a little anti-post for the champion chase next year, whatever he is. But I think he's considerably better than the rest of these, and I expect him to prove it.
Yeah, I agree with that, Jamie. He probably should win. That being said, you got to give respect to Nationale. He finally got his ground. He's finally put up a big performance. It's a wide margin win in the champion chase. Who knows what would have happened had Quilixia stood up. And technically speaking, the form has been franked by John Bunn going on to win at Aintree. Yes, Elite Tomp destroyed him, but he did go and win the Melling Chase. Should he be getting a little bit more respect than is currently being given to him?
I'm with Mr. Mills here. I think that champion chase wasn't great, to be honest with you. Now, the only other side, Emma, is that he will get his ground because it's going to dry out. There's no rain forecast for the rest of the week. There was a lot of rain in Ireland, obviously, during the last week, but it seems to be drying out all the time. My worry about Factified is this is another afterthought like they did with Allaho, trying to think if he's a 2-miler after winning a Ryanair chase. And they put Rachel up that time. Remember, it was at the time after Cheltenham, and it didn't go to pace. There's lots of pace here with Sneesia and Solness. Solness, I suppose, didn't get the rub of the green to chase, but if he gets a soft lead here at 9-1, 10-1, I'll take a bit of that. The fact that Factified's dropping back for the 2 miles since was beaten by a Dream to Share in his bumper. Nationale, I noticed Barry Connell has always kind of kept him, and he seems to be a stone, maybe more of a stone better horse left-handed. He's kind of kept him away. I know he's won a Royal Bond. I know he's one he's made in a Punchestown, but I'd be really worried about Marina Nationale if Sonless and Sneesha went really quick here and him going back right-handed. Even though the ground will suit him, but he has a tendency to jump to the left. We're going right-handed, so I'd be really worried. So I'm going to take a stab at Sonless to go back to winning ways, because the way he won, beating Gaelic Warrior Christmas, beating Marie Nationale, the DRF, if he gets a soft lead here, I think he'd be very hard to catch. And a 9-10 to 1 to find out will do for me. Yeah.
Okay. There will be the stats boys who'll go, actually, Jamie, he's 3 from 3 going right-handed. But they're not actually looking at the race replays of where he is jumping out in the way that he does. So, no, I think that's a very, very good point to make about him. George Gorman, your thoughts on the fact-to-file experiment. Is it going to come off?
Yeah, no, not massive to add, to be honest. Like, you look through that champion chase, you're trying to find any horse that actually ran its race. Like, see, John Bond made some horrific errors. Captain Guinness, for a horse that was ridden off the pace, didn't finish well at all. I think his age was starting to show. Solness, you could be forgiven that he didn't get his way out in front. Found a 50 simply isn't a 2-miler. If there were 8 horses here, I would be backing Solness each way. Maybe I would verge on the side of backing him in running if he does see off Senesia fairly easily early doors and gets himself an easy lead. But looking at it from a right now perspective, Fact-to-File's clear on ratings. I can't see that he won't handle the drop back down in trip. And to be honest, I thought it'd be a bit shorter. Like, I think I might have chanced Marine Nationale if he was sort of. I thought it might be sort of a case of 2 to 1 on and a 3 to 1 shot, but 10 to 11 is a very fair price. Like, very fair. I'd be backing Fact-to-File.
That's what it might end up being on the day, Liam, because they might just come out for him and go, this is the class act of the race. Look, he's absolutely destroyed them in the Ryanair. That being said, that Ryanair is not exactly holding up either. Hartwood was massively disappointing at Ferryhouse. He clearly didn't run his race that day, and it's not like Protectorat did a whole lot against John Bon, and then John Bon gets torn to shreds by Il Était Temps. So there'll be people who look at Fact-to-File and they'll go, well, this is the class act of the race, clearly he's going to win. And there'll be plenty of others on the other side of that fence going, nah, take this fella on all day. How do you see the market going, and who are you with?
No, I'd be in agreement with regards to how the market could pan out come the start. And I think also you'll find that if perhaps a couple of Willies go in a little bit earlier on the card at shorter prices, there'll be a few roll-ups of his shorties, as there always. With regards to the rest of the field, I'll come back to Fact-to-File, but Al Fabiola, there seems a real reluctance from trainers, and they could probably tell me as to why, but to revert horses back over the smaller obstacles. And I just think I'd like to see Al Fabiola back over a hurdle rather than a fence. Watching his jumping, it's a bit heart-in-mouth stuff. It really has gone to pot in terms of his ability to jump a fence. And given that obviously he's already been beaten by the outside of the field, and one's 50s, 66s, and Al Fabiola's single figures, if you gave me a free £1 bet to throw away, I know which one I'd be playing, given that the form line's already there, and you know that at least one of them is far more likely than the other to get round. But I'll probably be doing something that I don't often do, Emmet, and I will be sticking Fact-to-File in a little muggy double with another horse that we'll probably come on to later on the same day tomorrow on the card.
Ooh, I quite like that. We've seen 3 favourites in the last 4 go in. Energumene, long odds on favourite twice. Chacun Pour Soi did it. Undeso was kind of an upset winner twice, and last year Banbridge went and came along and surprised them. So the general consensus seems to be Fact-to-File is going to win this race, but we do have a very positive mention for Solness. Is there anything here that you think can cause a shock? Anybody that would nominate a horse that could pull off the Undeso upset win, for all that he was a great winner and a legend, but the market wasn't expecting him to win on the day? Who do you see as the big danger, Adam?
I don't see a danger. That's kind of the problem with this race. Is it's just when you got a sort of snappy field like this. So I don't want to bet El Fabiolo, because I think we're getting to the stage where he's probably 2 to 1 to complete the course at times. Yeah. And then you kind of look at things. Solness is going to lead, but I think Solness's track is Leopardstown, and I'd be far less convinced about the more undulation of Punchestown. Captain Guinness has gone. Really should not be good enough at all. So therefore you got a straight match, 10 to 11 Fact-to-File, around 2 mark for Marine Nationale. pick your side, but I just feel, Marine Nationale won a champion chase that fell apart. Factor File beat Hartwood, Envoy Allen. I mean, he absolutely cantered all over Ile Francais. Whatever you think of Ile Francais at Cheltenham, you watch that Ryanair back, 4 furlongs to go, he's cantering. And James Reevely said Ile Francais had nothing left. Absolutely nothing left. And yeah, he's quite a fast horse. The ground, I don't really think is a problem for Factor File. I just can't really find a reason that I'd want to take him on.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I think that Factor File is just going to either go off and make all, control it from the front, or he's going to take a lead from something. But Mark will be in the right position the whole way around and will probably just go and win. And if there was going to be an upset, I can see people back in El Fabiolo. Oh, it's Town End. He's unbeaten at Punchestown in 2 starts. He goes well right-handed. He likes the ground. You gotta call a halt to it. At some point, you just have to say, no. Good luck to him if he goes and wins. Good luck to him if he does, but geez, I couldn't. Right, Factor File for me. Factor File for Adam. Liam is throwing him in a scumbag double. We'll find out who that's going to be in a second. George, confirmation of your selection?
Factor File.
And then it's only one man stands in opposition to us. Price-wise himself, Jamie Wrenn's like, you're all wrong. Solness. He's done it before. He'll do it again. We'll see. We'll see. That is our race of the day for day 1 of Punchestown. Second race we're going to preview is the 450. It's the Dooley Insurance Group, to give them their proper mention. They're going to be in the corporate box. The last thing they want to be saying is, you're not going on the podcast getting their name wrong. The Dooley Insurance Group, Champion Novice Chase. There's a free voiceover for you. Ballyburn. Back over the 3 miles is the 11-8 favourite. Lecky Watson, winner of the Brown Advisory, is 11-4. Impere Pass, hero at Aintree, is a 9-2 shot. Slade Steele, Rachel Blackmore, Henry de Bromhead, he's back and his form looks very, very good. At the time, people wanted to scoff at it, but he was beaten by Better Days Ahead. He was beaten by Lecky Watson. They both went on to better things. He's an 11-1 shot. Then we got Gorgeous Thom. That old softy Il Atlantique is back again. Good luck to him. 14s. Stellar Story, 14s. Champ Kylie, 33s. And Don't Rightly Know, 66-1. This is a cracking race. Who's going to come out on top? Adam Mills.
Emmet, you're going to scream at me here because you know my love for a rogue. I don't want to back Ballyburn. I've decided I don't want to back him. If he wins, fair enough. I can't be having him. Don't like the way he jumps. Rushing through the fences too much. I'll be against him. I thought really, Lecky Watson should be favourite when I was doing my sort of paper tissue. I thought. At first, I was kind of a bit against Lecky Watson, and I still think he's more of a Grand National type than a Gold Cup winner, but actually did it pretty well at Cheltenham. I think he'll be okay on the ground. I kind of had in my head when I priced it, I kind of made them both around a 2-1 shot, but I thought Lecky Watson was maybe a touch of value. Il Atlantique is not like the worst bet for the forecast. He won't win. He's a bit of a rogue, and if he would be in that race we talked about with Mr. Coffee and Hitman. In terms of it doesn't find it all, but I thought 3 miles might suit him. Patrick Mullins rides. He's going to be quiet as a mouse. He might be he won't win. So I'm not going to put him up, Emmet. I don't need to lose your voice again. But I thought Il Atlantique was kind of your forecast bet in terms of sneaking into the fray. Some people might think I'm doing this just to wind you up, Mr. Kennedy. But my main bet will be Lecky Watson. I think he should be favourite. So all the time he's a bigger price than Ballyburn. I'd rather back him.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It's your money. You do what you want with it. If you want to throw it on Atlantique, that's your choice. I'm sure there's plenty of bookmakers lining up to go, come and place a bet with us. Jamie Wrenn, what do you make of the Dooley Insurance Group Novice Chase? If I told you you're going to get Ballyburn at 11-8 for Punchestown at the beginning of the season, you probably would have snapped my hand off. Is he going to bounce back here?
I'd have laughed at you anyway for the 11-8. I thought he'd be lead 4-9 by the time he came to this race. But I don't know. I think he needs to go back over hurdles. He doesn't jump well enough, exactly what Adam says. I was there at Morgan a day when he won. Beat O'Castle de Mott, I think, and decapitated the last fin. And then he just wasn't great at Cheltenham. He doesn't jump properly well enough. Even that day at Punchestown, I saw the crib of people online saying he doesn't jump well enough, and I was trying not to buy it. And then he wins at the Dublin Race Festival, beating Croke Park. Croke Park wasn't great at Aintree. Perret passed him, went on to win at Aintree, was behind him in the DRF. Do you know what I mean? And Perret passed it, he couldn't have here anyway. He's not a 3-miler. Forget about him. Leslie Watson, I suppose he won the Brown Advisory, but beat a horse like the likes of Down Memory Lane and what was that name? That elite horse, can't think of the name of the elite horse. Far and Glory, sorry. Down Memory Lane wasn't great, was he, at Ferry House? So I'd still credit that for him. Slade Steele for me is an interesting one, back over 3 miles. Obviously finished behind Lecky Watson at Naas, but my problem with Slade Steele, all his best form is soft heavy ground.
Yeah,
maybe might get away now is the old rule of thumb, first time out over 3 miles, and all of a sudden then it'll go on the ground, going a tad slower. But you might think I'm mad here, but I think 14-1 here is absolutely insane for Stellar Story, because I think if the one day this horse jumps on out of better ground, form obviously won in Arbor Bartlett, one at Punchestown nearly headbutting fences on Morgan at the end of grade 2 Florida, I think it was the Florida part. Then 4th at Christmas behind Better Days Ed, jumped markedly to the right. Then was second, obviously, in the Brown Advisory. Second to Better Days Ed at Navan before. I think he just needs to go back right-handed, maybe. Emmet, better ground will definitely suit him. So one day he might jump better out of the better ground, and 14-1 each way to find out for a former Grade 1 novice hurdler. It's massive. He'll win. So I'm not letting him go at 14-1. So I'll pick Stellar Story each way now.
Yeah, I don't think that's crazy at all. It makes an awful lot of sense to me. I would just bear in mind, like, Willie Mullins has won this race 3 times, never with a favourite. Capodanno was his only runner in 2022 when he won the race. Colreevy was a second string. Valsalito was a second string. I really like Ballyburn. I think this is where they're going to find out whether or not chasing is still the name of the game for him. And I think they really want it to be. Because for all that they have won the Stayers Hurdle, this isn't what they get into racing for. So they want him to be a 3-mile chaser, but wanting him to be that and him actually being that are 2 very, very different things. George Gorman, what are your thoughts?
Well, you're going to like this. I land on Stellar Story as well. They said Albert Bartlett and a Florida Pearl winner, but completely overlooked at the prices. I'd say mostly because he's done the majority of his winning on soft or heavy ground. But I'd say based on the fact that he was obviously second in the Albert Bartlett on good to soft, probably suggests that what he actually was looking for, and it was just that the soft or heavy ground provided that for him, then that he's necessarily ground dependent. I just think he's the most solid one in the race. Like, he's going to run his race. You can look at like the ones further up in the betting. Ballyburn, you don't know what he's going to do. Lecky Watson obviously sets decent standard. Like if I was going to have a bet on one of the big 3 in the betting, I might chance it that Ampere Pass would get the trip. I think Stellar Story is a far more solid proposition, and you're getting a huge price to find out. So I'm going to be with him as well.
Yeah, finally, somebody's mentioned the winner of this race, Imperi Pass. More on him to come. Liam Firkin.
Yeah, he certainly catch my eye in the betting. Imperi Pass, I thought he was really impressive at Aintree. But I'd probably just give a second chance to a horse I really fancied in the Brown Advisory, along with Adam, actually. I'm surprised he didn't give him a name check. But Gorgeous Tom, you mentioned Henry de Bromhead just there, Emmett. In the last kind of 6 days or so, almost 50% of his runners have hit the frame, and he's had winners he's had placed horses at the prices like 28. He's had winners at 7-1, 16-1. They're certainly in good form. He comes obviously back here, going right-handed. I think one of the best pieces of form that he's put up was on a right-handed track on good ground at Cork, where he beat Monbeg Park by almost 6 lengths. He's now rated 150, the same mark that officially Gorgeous Tom. Perhaps there might just be a better Fettle, and he could well outrun his odds. Champ Kylie's another that I've glanced at and continue to, but I need to probably give him a little bit more consideration as to whether I'd want to play him as a big outsider. But yeah, probably my main play if I do put something up over Oddschecker in this will be Gorgeous Tom more than likely. But yeah, I'd be happy to take Ballyburn on, and if he does run quite a poor race, and if you can get a nice price on the exchange for the Stayers Hurdle 2026, then it may well be worth throwing a bit of loose change at if he doesn't put up a decent jumping performance. Yeah,
if you're prepared to wait, you could end up with a massive price, but just remember, it's not really their thing. This is not Stayers Hurdle's horses is not what Willie Mullins is in the game for, but you can pretend all you want what Ballyburn is, and maybe he bounces back here. Maybe this is maybe we're all wrong, and this is where he bounces back and comes back to the horse that they think he is. I don't know. I think Impera Pass wins. I think that 9-2 is very, very, very fair indeed. In fact, I think there might be slightly bigger. We're just getting confirmation of this from Jeff Banks. 9-2 with Jeff Banks bet about Impera Pass. I think that's very, very fair. He was brilliant at Aintree. I can't explain to you why he got beaten at the Dublin Racing Festival, but I can't explain to you why he bombed out in the Irish Champion Hurdle either. He's just been beaten at the last 2 DRFs. Maybe he doesn't like it for whatever reason. He was great at Aintree. He's completely unexposed over fences. He should hit the frame at least. And he could be an awful lot better over this trip. JJ Slevin on board. There's an awful lot to like about him. I thought Townend was great on him at Aintree, but JJ's a good jockey. He'll go close, and I'll take a chance on him. But I think there's some very, very solid cases there made from the team. The first race of the day from the Grade 1 perspective is the 4:15. It's the KPMG Champion Novice Hurdle, and Kopek Des Bordes is going to be considered basically banker material for many. I wonder, is this the horse that Liam was talking about putting in the muggy double with Factifile? More on that to be revealed in a little bit. But Salvatore Mundi looked to be a completely transformed horse at Aintree. That was under Paul Townend. Patrick Mullins is back on board, and he is a Grade 1 winner in Open Company, and of course the Grand National winning jockey. Aranci looked really, really good at Ferryhouse. Katie Young's been telling us about this horse for ages. Finally managed to go and do it. Mark Walsh on board, of course, and Caribou for Danny Mullins is going to be a pretty big price, but he'd need to improve significantly. Which of the Willie Mullins horses will be coming out on top? Adam Mills.
Well, I don't want to second guess Liam's thunder, but I'll just say Kopek Des Bordes wins this. Just if anyone's thinking of trying to find an each way angle against this, go back and watch that Supreme. Yeah. You can't see any of these other horses when Kopek Des Bordes crosses the line. I can't be having it. Not interested. I don't really. Not sure 4-9 is my kind of price, but I can't be having. I don't want to take him on.
Yeah, we have seen some upsets at Punchestown in the past, Jamie Wrenn, but this would be one of the biggest upsets of all time if he was beaten.
Yeah, exactly. I won't be taking him on either. And no, I think on to better things next year. Yeah, Salvatore Mundi did, I suppose, undulating tracks might not be his bag, but look, when he ran in that race at Punchestown, like, he was all over the place, and he only beat Kellis Twar bombed out really in the race bombed by the New Line, and Reed the Duties hasn't run I think since yet, and the form of that race isn't great. Look, he beat Romeo Cooley Aintree, but I think Romeo Cooley might need a step up on trip, but he might be, I'm being a hypocrite there, he might be a decent 2 mile chaser next year, Romeo Cooley, but he could be tripless maybe next year when he goes over fences, because there's no Turner's Novice Chase over 2.5 miles of Grade 1 at the Cheltenham Festival. But no, you'd be foolish to take on Kopek Des Bordes because I think he's a serious backman.
Yep. Faugheen, Duvan, Facile Vega was second in the Supreme Novice Hurdle. Mystical Power was second in the Supreme, came on to win here. Classical Dream doubled up from the Supreme. Faugheen had obviously gone for what is now Bearing Bingham is the original name of the race. I can't even remember what the bloody race is called. Let's just call it the Neptune. Just go way back in time and call it that. But horses who ran very well at Cheltenham for Willie Mullins tend to just go and win this race. And with that in mind, given how easily he brushed Salvatore Mundi aside and how impressive Salvatore Mundi was at Aintree under Paul Townend, he surely just goes and wins, George.
He might. For me, I'm not sure the hood massively suited him at Cheltenham. I'm a little underwhelmed. Like, he jumped so much better on his second run, this first run, and then it was a bit disappointing to see him make the mistakes he made. Like, we're holding him to a very high standard because he looks like a very, very good horse here. But it's easy to say he was miles clear of all these turning in. But Salvatore Mundi got beat 5 lengths by Romeo Cooley on that occasion, even more than that, about 10 lengths. By Romeo Cooley, and he reversed with him at Aintree. He took a big step forward. He got his jumping together. So I was there on the day, and Dawn Bolger actually pointed out to me how bad a state Salvatore Mundi's feet were in at Cheltenham. Like, they looked like he must have been barely trainable. I wasn't there at Aintree, but they clearly must have sorted it out. And the turnaround he's made with Romeo Cooley from Cheltenham to Aintree is massive. Just at the prices, I'd be inclined to go, well, they've left the hood on Kopek Des Bordes, which I was hoping they wouldn't. And I just think Salvatore Mundi's probably a bit too big at the prices. He might not be good enough, but he impressed me last time, as Kopek Des Bordes disappointed me a little bit as far as you can in winning a series. And I just give Salvatore Mundi a little chance. I'm talking small stakes, but I would be with him.
Patrick Mullins won this race in 2021 on board Echoes of Rain. Could he do it again on Salvatore Mundi? Or is Kopek Des Bordes the first leg of your banker scumbag double, Liam Firkin?
Well, I was going to double my stake until George started speaking, so that won't be happening anymore. But yes, he is Kopek Des Bordes. I agree with everything that the lads have already said with regards to his performance at Cheltenham. I was obviously still happy to try and take him on, but at some point you have to admit that you've got something drastically wrong, and he looks a really impressive one. So yes, Kopek Des Bordes and Fact of File will be my muggy little double for day one.
In horse racing, every furlong matters and every episode counts. So stay ahead of the field by hitting subscribe to the Final Furlong podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all major podcast platforms. It's free and it gets you one step closer to the winner's enclosure. Subscribe to the Final Furlong podcast and join us on the gravy train.